You take 2 Tylenol and your headache vanishes. Magic. You take the whole bottle and your liver dissolves into a toxic sludge and you die a painful yellow death. It is the exact same molecule. The only difference? The number of pills. Welcome to the most dangerous math equation in medicine. If you don't respect the curve, you don't cure the patient, you kill them. Welcome back to Pharmacology Lore. I'm your director, and today we are looking at the foundation of everything we do, the dose-response relationship. Up until now, we've just been talking about what drugs do. They bind, they block, they activate. That's cute. But in the real world, what doesn't matter nearly as much as how much. You need to know exactly how much chemical encouragement it takes to get the factory working, and exactly how much it takes to blow it up. Welcome back to the factory. Today we are talking about the only thing that separates a medicine from a murder weapon, the dose. 500 years ago, a guy named Paracelsus, the father of toxicology and possessor of a fantastic beard, dropped the hardest truth in medical history. All things are poison, and nothing is without poison. The dosage alone makes it so a thing is not a poison. You think I'm joking? Oxygen, it causes free radical damage. Water? Drink 6 liters in an hour and your brain swells until you die. There are no safe drugs, there are only safe doses. And to understand that, we have to look at the curvy line that haunts your nightmares. Behold, the sigmoid curve. Why is it S-shaped? Because biology is lazy. First, you have the threshold. Down here at the bottom, you're giving the drug, but the body doesn't give a damn. You haven't shouted loud enough for the factory workers to hear you. Then you hit the linear range. This is the sweet spot. You give a little more drug, you get a little more effect. We are cooking now. But then you hit the plateau. This is Emax. This is the ceiling. It doesn't matter if you inject the entire pharmacy into the patient. The effect will not get any stronger. You've occupied every receptor, or the cell is simply maxed out. If you keep pushing past this point, you aren't getting more therapeutic effect. You're just inviting toxicity to the party. Now, before we get to the math, you need to know what you're measuring. On the left, we have graded responses. This asks, how much? How much did your blood pressure drop? How much did your heart rate slow down? It's a sliding scale. On the right, we have Quantal responses. This asks, did it happen? Yes or no? Did the patient fall asleep? Did the seizure stop? Did the patient die? You can't be 30% dead. That is an all or none event. Quantal curves measure populations, not individuals. Keep that straight or you will fail the board exam. Here is where 90% of students get confused. Potency versus efficacy. Potency is the x-axis. It's just how much drug do I need to get to 50% effect. That's the EC50. If drug A hits the spot at 1 milligram and drug B needs 10 milligrams, drug A is more potent. It's to the left on the graph. But hear me loud and clear. Potency is for marketing teams. Efficacy is for doctors. Efficacy is the y-axis. It's the height of the curve. It is the maximum possible effect. Emax. Look at drug Y on the slide. It is pathetic. It barely gets off the floor. It doesn't matter if it's highly potent. If it can't cure the headache, it's useless garbage. Always choose efficacy over potency. I don't care if the pill is the size of a horse tranquilizer, I care that it works. Now, let's talk about safety. Ideally, we want the blue curve, the dose that cures you, to be far, far away from the red curve, the dose that kills you. The gap between them is your margin of safety. We calculate this using the therapeutic index, TI. It's the toxic dose divided by the effective dose. If you have a high therapeutic index, like penicillin, you can be a clumsy idiot and prescribe too much, and the patient will be fine. But if you have a narrow therapeutic index, like warfarin or lithium, the dose that saves them is terrifyingly close to the dose that bleeds them out. High therapeutic index equals good. Narrow therapeutic index equals lawyer up. Look at the certain safety factor. It ensures even the most sensitive patient doesn't die. But for now, just remember, keep the red line away from the blue line. We talked about dumb drugs, but let's talk about effort. This is intrinsic activity. A full agonist sits in the chair and pushes the pedal to the metal, 100% effect. A partial agonist? He's trying, but he's weak. Even if he fills every single receptor, he can only get you to maybe 50% effect. And the inverse agonist? He doesn't just do nothing, he actively shuts down the factory's background noise. He puts the car in reverse. Finally, the haters, the antagonists. If the antagonist is competitive, he's just stealing your chair. But, and this is key, if you bring enough friends, enough agonists, you can shove him out of the way. This is a rightward shift. It kills your potency, but not your efficacy. It is surmountable. But a non-competitive antagonist, he burned the chair. He broke the machine. No matter how much drug you add, you cannot fix it. This is a downward shift. Your efficacy is gone. Game over. Now, a quick reality check. You might think that to get 100% effect, you need to occupy 100% of the receptors. Wrong. The body loves overkill. It loves signal amplification. One drug binds to one receptor, which activates 10 G proteins, which activate 100 enzymes, which produce 1,000 second messengers. You can get a massive scream from a tiny whisper. This creates a receptor reserve, or spare receptors. Think of it like a spare tire. You don't need all 4 tires to drive a car. You can drive on 3. You can block 50%, sometimes even 90% of the receptors with an antagonist, and the remaining 10% are still enough to amplify the signal to the max. This is why some antagonists seem to do nothing at low doses. You haven't chewed through the reserve yet. You have to bankrupt the reserve before you see the crash. But here is the final trap. You calculate the perfect dose. You hit the perfect receptor. You save the patient. But then you keep giving it. And suddenly it stops working. The curve shifts. The patient is in pain again. Why? Because the factory workers aren't robots. They get tired. They get annoyed. And eventually they go on strike. This is tolerance and tachyphylaxis. The body bricks up the windows to shut you out. In the next video, we're going to talk about adaptive responses. We'll cover why your patient needs a higher dose on Tuesday than they did on Monday, and why stopping a drug cold turkey can sometimes be more dangerous than the disease itself. The factory is fighting back. Click here to see who wins.